Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm on location here at Greenville Falls State Scenic River area, and this place, as the name would suggest, is really centered around this giant waterfall. It's broken up in all these different cascades, and I believe it's one of the widest ones actually here in Southwest Ohio, which is the part that I'm most looking forward to. So just right off the pretty much parking lot, which is over there, you see my car, and I can already hear it actually, which is pretty cool. As we're getting here. So winter, as we know it, is finally coming to an end, and now we're approaching spring, fast approaching at that, really. The temperatures are warming up, birds are singing again, and wildflowers are starting to bloom, at least the ephemeral kinds. And then of course with waterfalls like this, that means that they're melting, and that means all the water is just making them pretty much flow rapidly, and in places that you probably would never even seen before. But as far as I know, this one flows most of the year and probably freezes over partially, I would guess, but it's built upon some limestone from glacial Ohio times, and it sounds like it's roaring if you can hear it from already all the way over here. But that's the thing I'm most looking forward to seeing here at this visit, because I believe there's about a mile of trail total, so it's not too much, but it does take you around what used to be the former mill that was along the river here, and then also a power plant and everything else with it. So there's lots of local history here with this location, but I think today I'll try out some long exposures at least and see how those turn out, or maybe some abstracts. I don't know, something fun like that would be pretty cool. But pretty much I'm going to be high up on this embankment, so as you can see there's the railing and everything. It looks like the overlook's just right over there, and then see what kind of shots I can take. I'm probably not going to probably switch out my wide angle lens that I already had on the camera body for something that's more like a telephoto zoom lens, just because I'm going to be picking apart parts of the scene, really. But I'll try for some wider scene shots probably of the entire falls, at least from what I've seen from pictures online, of course. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this location and these falls, so let's go ahead and check them out here. So now I'm made my way upstream a little bit more, so hopefully it's a lot more quieter up here. Here's some just just kind of more shallower end of the creek here, Greenville Creek that is. And yeah, I'm just in my way, meandered on this small little path that goes beyond the overlook that's kind of just situated over there, and then down this looks like what is the remnants of the dam that used to be constructed here along the creek. So pretty neat to see this, just old, decrepit structure. It's it's slanted, of course, and up here is the stone slabs on the like triangular shaped portion of it up here. So I feel like this is a nice spot to really just go over and recap the photo shoot so far, and all the shots I got, of course. So overall, it was great. I really enjoyed it. It's really cool to finally do some long exposure, because it seems like, of course, naturally speaking, during winter, I'm really not doing. I'm doing next to nothing with long exposure in terms of that kind of genre or style of photography. But for this trip, it really just got me excited about shooting waterfalls in spring, even though it's still kind of like late winter right now, at least. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Even as far as went to put on the neutral density filters on some lenses, and pretty much took all the shots with those on, just because that way it could really slow down that shutter speed. Of course, with neutral density filters, they remove stops of light depending on how much the strength and intensity of the certain filter you have. I don't use any graduated neutral density filters or anything that turns in such a way like that to adjust the basically the exposure for it. So mine are just basically, I think, about 5 or 8 stops each, and so I thought it worked out pretty well. And it was really much needed, honestly, because I wanted to get lots of flow in this without trying to sacrifice too much of the color and everything and the motion of it, where it does become a white blob, of course. So I had to really skirt that balance basically with taking the images, and yeah, but it wasn't too much of a challenge, fortunately. It was just more of a challenge, I think, to compose compelling photographs, really, with just the way the flows all look all together, because you're pretty much restricted almost entirely to that overlook, honestly. And it wasn't until I noticed there's a second footpath that actually went a little bit downhill along the rocks, very wet rocks at that. It's pretty tough to have the weight of my bag and then try not to slip everything as I was making my way downhill there. But it took me to a fishing access, and so that gets me some like closer views, I guess, of the creek itself. But it was already upstream enough that I didn't really get to see basically the biggest flow of the creek itself, which is unfortunate. I wish I was in a little bit better spot, and I wish you could actually like swim or wade in it, but obviously the sign said not to, and I wasn't going to push my luck, of course, and drop gear in water and all that kind of stuff, once again, at least. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it worked out real well still, regardless. I took the first couple shots from the overlook with my 16-35 f4. That's a wide angle lens, and just basically getting some postcard sort of shots. There's all encompassing, showing the entire Greenville Falls. And then I pretty quickly got almost like bored or tired of those, just that that basically that focal length, and I opted to do some 75mm, all the way up to about maybe 120 millimeters. So that's in the small telephoto range, and taking pretty much most of the shots at about, I'd say, about f14, just because I want a really small aperture that allowed me to obviously drag out that shutter speed a lot more, and using a really low ISO of 100, just so once again I could keep that shutter very elongated, and make some nice flow with all those images, coupled with the polarizer filter and the ND filters that I use for both lenses and all those kind of shots. So basically I was just, once I got the big wide angle kind of shots, then I really started focusing on the more intimate stuff. So I started taking a good glance at the entire Greenville Falls, and just basically picking apart different parts of the falls itself, basically what I call like points of interest, and breaking that up visually speaking into like take a shot here, take a shot there, and just kind of just work my way around the entire falls there to the most interesting parts. So what I'm mainly looking for in that case is stuff like rocks or any points of interest that stand out, even if they're almost like sticking above all the flowing water. So yeah, basically taking all those different kinds of shots, and I even experimented with doing some multiple exposures, so I'm going to bracket and compile those later in post-production, and I did those to expose for the water detail, because I didn't want it to be too underexposed where it gets a gray kind of gross color. I want it to be that pure white as much as I could, as much as it looks right here in front of me. And then also exposed for some of the background tree line, and on the other side of the creek, that is. And basically, so that way it wouldn't render that deep in shadow. So by doing 2 shots there, I only did 2 at most. Most of my shots were just one shot only. But the ones that are 2, I'm gonna put together, and the reason why is that way it captures all the shadow detail, the midtones, and then the highlights. The highlights being the water, and then the trees and everything basically in the background is going to be, you know, it's going to be actually more well exposed than it would be if I just took 1 single shot. So that's the reason why I did that, at least. And you know, naturally speaking, with all long exposure photography, I'd recommend you get a nice sturdy tripod and use that as I did for these shots as well. Lots of different gear I use to take these shots, but you know, it's kind of just the name of the game with it's kind of like long exposure landscape photography kind of shots. But I'm really glad I came here today. I'm probably going to just hike my way back. I think there was a little bit of a side trail right next to the parking lot that I just basically completely ignored, just so I can see the falls first and foremost. And so I think with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and maybe make my way back, but it's probably gonna be it for this video. It's gonna be probably a little bit of a shorter one, just because I really focused on this, you know, just basically taking the shots that I came here for. Namely, I'm looking forward to future visits here, maybe with some green foliage surrounding all the different sides of the creek. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get back to hiking and see if there's anything else I missed on my way over here, and then call it quits for the day. So it looks like this trail I mentioned a little bit ago, looks like it's just really a mixed woods kind of scrubby habitat. Lots of these small little coniferous trees, and it got me this nice look actually, just straight down the basically the falls and everything at large. And it looked really cool from that vantage point. I wasn't really looking to take an image of it, but it was just a really nice view of it regardless. So it really just showed I think the wide expanse of it. That's hard to tell when you're off to the side looking directly down over it, of course. I think with that being said, it looks like this just loops back to the parking lot, which is totally fine by me. But it was really nice looking at all the different variety of habitat. Like I said, the namesake falls, that's, you know, here. And just, yeah, this is a very beautiful place. I'd highly recommend it if you're in the area. If you're near Southwest Ohio. Pretty close to Indiana actually by here, but it's a really nice place that I was eager to check out and had been looking forward to checking out for a while, and I'm glad I finally got around to doing it. So I think with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. This has been Greenville Falls State Scenic River area, and until next time, make sure to get out here. Thank you.